Before we begin, the name is placed on the top right side of the screen. The story begins as a man asks Riard Elhain to raise her head. It's raining heavily as the man tells her that unlike her twin brother Ryan, everyone was puzzled why she could not awaken the power of water until she turned 20. But they found the answer in ancient texts. He asks her if that isn't fortunate. Ryan's incomplete water power will become perfect with her death. He asks her to not be sad, stating that the entire house of Elhain will forever remember her sacrifice. The only non-awakened member of the Elhain family is Riard Elhain. She's a disgrace and object of contempt. No matter how hard she tried, no one loved her. The man commands to begin the execution. They begin it as she ponders that she tried so hard to be loved. But it was all in vain. She wonders if she has another life. Just then the man and Ryan has an astonished look on their faces, as it turns out that she is awakening the power of water now. Everyone is shocked as the man questions what is going on. She thinks that if she has another life, then she will surely abandon them. Her eyes are closed as someone asks her to open them. She opens them and finds someone extending his hand towards her, asking her please. That is the moment she gasps and opens her eyes. It was a dream, and she thinks, where is she? She is aware that this room was burned down on the morning of the execution. This causes her to think if she's dreaming. She cannot help but wonder why she is unharmed. Right then her brother appears and asks her how is she feeling. She questions what is he doing here. He asks her what does she mean by asking what is he doing here, causing her to be startled. He tells her that of course he came to check up on her. He grabs her wrist and tells her that so that she knows because of her his schedule got completely messed up. He glares down at her and tells her she is such a nuisance. She seems a bit taken aback as she questions what. She notices his expression and those words, realizing that she remembers them. She remembers that 3 years ago, she jumped in to protect Ryan from an assassin. She got poisoned and collapsed for a while, causing all of Ryan's plan to come to a halt. She's aware that it is exactly the same as that day. She wonders if she has really gone back in time. She thinks if that is the case before she questions if he called her a nuisance. She takes her hand back and tells him that it goes the same for him. She asks him to not worry as she will never do anything so pointless again. He is shocked as he questions what does she mean by that. Right then someone steps in and asks Ryan to come out quickly. It is Ain as Ryan asks him what is going on. He responds that father has summoned the water awakeners and the spirit stone suddenly started to shine. He tells Ryan that he needs to go to check on the spirit stone. Ryan steps away, stating that they should talk while he go. Before they leave, Ain glares at Riard. She stares back before she thinks that the moment the execution was carried out, the spirit stone shattered into pieces. She felt some kind of energy being absorbed into her body. She thinks maybe she has awakened the power of water. She decides to give it a try if that is the case. She realizes that it worked. She wonders if this is a blessing or a curse, being aware that she cannot tell. But one thing is certain, that this time she will abandon the house of Elhain. She is determined as she thinks she will definitely do it. Someone asks the young master how is his eyes. He responds that he still cannot see anything. The man states that 2 days ago, during the assassination attempt, Elhain is convinced that Birch is behind it. He questions if they should try to lift the curse on him. He responds that he does not know that either. But the only one who can lift this curse are the water awakeners, so there's no choice. If they don't help it, they should at least gather some information on Elhain. He also tells the young master that it seems the imperial family had sent another gift. The young man still states that after the girls, they send another gift and they should return it twofold. He is asked what if there is someone who can lift the curse. He responds that he will give them whatever they want. He states that the enemy must be killed and grudges must be settled completely. He uses his power as the assassins outside gets unwell. He states that's the creed of Birch and takes off the cloth from his eyes. As he reaches the house of Elhain, he questions what brought him here. He responds that he has a request to make to Elhain. He mentions that if his visit is unwelcome, then he can tell him to leave now. He also shows an official letter of visitation. The letter of visitation is a formal protocol indicating that the visiting party will not harm the host family. It is drafted by the intemperate and the imperial family, and those who visit with it cannot be turned away lightly. This dude thinks that he is deceiving him. They must ask them why is he having such a strange expression. His writes and states, it is as if he's afraid of the power of the Birch family. His duke asks him to tell him what he wants. He mentions that his eyes has gone completely blind, that even the saint could not heal this curse. So if there is a water awakener who can break their curse, he would like to ask for their help. He is told that it must be quite inconvenient. But if it is a curse that's severe, the person lifting it might lose their life. So it is a heavy burden. So it is better to leave it to their choice rather than forcing them. He asks him to wait for a volunteer to appear within a month. He responds all right and agrees to wait for a volunteer for a month. He leaves as he is asked if Elhaim said that they would lift the curse. He responds that they did not, just as he had expected. From the beginning he doubted if there would be an awakener capable of breaking this curse. He gets in the carriage as Riot stares at him from her window. It is already nighttime. A knight wonders that no matter how one looks at it, there is not even an ant inside. Not only are there no volunteers, but even the servants are locked away. He asks the young master if he is planning to stay here. They say that the Duke of Elhaim has gathered the water awakeners, and questions if they should go and check. He thinks about it for a while before mentioning that it is a convenient excuse, finding it fortunate. Does Walter to go gather information on the Tube of Elhaim? Walter responds that his royal Walter is at his service. The young master thinks about it and wonders if his eyesight will never return. He finds it troublesome and thinks that he can still use his abilities, but without sight, fine control is impossible. In the worst case, he might not be able to use his abilities at all. He suddenly hears something and wonders if there's an intruder. He states that he cannot stand uninvited guests at night as he stands up. He asks who is she, that she tells him that she is not an assassin, and she is definitely not a water awareness, and by the Duke of Elhaim. He suddenly becomes astonished as he realizes this scent is not the fishy smell of Elhaim's water. It is a refreshing fragrance. He cannot see what he can definitely sense it. He asks her why has she come to him. She calls out to him and tells him it is because she can help him with his curse. He questions what does she mean by help. She grabs his hand and questions if she eliminates the curse and restores his sight, what will he give to her? He remains silent for a while before he smirks and tells her everything. He kisses her hand. He repeats that he will give her everything. She tells him that first she would like to see the state of the curse. He tells her to do whatever she wants as he sits down, stating that there is no reason for him not to cooperate with someone who says that she can lift the curse. She tells him that she will then take off his blindfold. She tries taking it off before she states that the knot of the blindfold is tied tightly. He tells her that the escort knight tied it up so it would not come loose. He thinks that in fact he could have done it himself, but he does not really want to say it. Since he cannot say, he can feel the touch of her soft hand. He is even more sensitive right now, and it keeps stimulating his sense of smell. He can smell the scent of water from her. She takes it off as she looks at his eyes. She notices the curse and becomes astonished. She tells him that this is a black magic. It is a little different from a typical curse as it is surrounded by 7 veils, which becomes more severe as time passes. He asks her how does someone from Elhaim know that. He questions if Duke of Elhaim has an aversion to ancient dark magic. She tells him that she just happened to know. At the time when she could not give up the hope of being loved by them, she read forbidden books to help others without the power of water. She tells him that if he does not take action sooner then he could really lose his eyesight. She tells him that first she will release the seal at the top. She begins to work on it and uses her powers. She thinks that even though this is her first time using the power of water, it is moving according to her will. She thinks that this is her real ability. He wonders that this is such a powerful force flowing into the body. Or was there a water awakener this strong in Elheim? He wonders who on earth is she. She informs him that it is done before he states that his eyes feel a little better. She tells him that if she releases all layers at once, it would be hard on his body, so she will release the remaining 7 layers, 1 layer per day. She tells him that she will see him tomorrow. She begins to walk out before he tells her that he will wait for her. She becomes astonished as he tells her that he is not aware of her name, but he will see her tomorrow. He looks at the blindfold and thinks that he is thirsty. Meanwhile, in her past life, half of the territory of Elheim family was lost in war. The Duke of Elheim was cornered and confessed to her. He said that because they ignored and mocked his curse in the past. That is why the young master wants revenge on them. And with her that they could complete the ritual with Ryan and awaken the spirit stone. Then they can fight against him. However, the true owner of the energy stone her, and not Ryan. Ryan stepped in the room as she thinks that if the Duke knows this, he will never let her go. According to imperial law, minor nobles born into an awakened family are forced to belong to their family until they reach adulthood. After becoming an adult, they are free to choose their own residence, and she has to just hide this secret until she becomes an adult. She asks Ryan what is the matter. He responds that he came here to check if there are still any after effects from the poison and asks her how is her physical condition. She asks him why he is curious about that. He is shocked as he ponders that the after effects of the poison would have disappeared. So why does she keep acting like this? He tells her because her condition is important to him. She responds that she can guess that because he cannot use his abilities properly without her. He tells her that for the time being she can move around freely during the day. She must have been frustrated to stay in her room when she was not feeling well and states that is all for now. As he goes outside, he is aware that she has also changed as before, and after she jumped in front of him and stopped the assassin. He wonders what kind of change of heart occurred between that time. She always watched his facial expressions and tried to please him. He grits in frustration. Ain calls out to him and tells him that the light of the energy stone has become stronger than yesterday. They go to observe that. Ryan questions since when has it been like this. He is told that from what he heard, it has been like this since yesterday. He tries to touch it, and upon dress that he cannot feel anything. He wonders if it is right for the spirit stone to react to him. The nighttime appears as she goes to him. He greets her as he greets him back and calls him by his name Michael Birch. He questions if it is not too formal to call him by his last name. She asks him if she should then call him Lord Birch. He tells her that he would prefer that she calls him by his first name. He touches her face before she tells him. All right. He ponders that she does not even blink at most flirtations. He wonders if he should say that she's cold or smart. She asks him how are his eyes. He tells her that until yesterday, they hurt with a lightweight. She tells him that is a relief and states that today they will lift another layer of the curse. She begins to work on it as he trembles. She holds his hand and tells him to not worry and trust her. She will make sure to restore his eyes, causing him to be astonished. He ponders that her frail, soft hand is so small that it fits lightly in his embrace. Yet he is the one trying to comfort him. He was never anxious in the first place, but he finds it amusing. He thinks, who would have thought that someone like him would hear such words? He tells her all right. He will trust her as she is the first person to even capture his interest like this. She begins to use her powers. She's done. She tells him that it is over and asks him how is he feeling, questioning if it hurts. He tells her that he guesses it is all thanks to her care, and wonders that even if he were to experience it again, it feels like a strong power. But what captivates his interest is not just her ability. She tells him that she was worried he might be hurt, but she is glad that he is okay. He thinks that treating the infamous Vitch as if they were a vulnerable little one needing protection. He finds it endearing. He really wishes to see her with his own eyes. He wonders what expression she's wearing right now. She touches her hair and tells her that he will make sure to repeat this favor. He questions that when the curse is lifted, will he finally hear her name? She tells him that she thought he might have already investigated who she is. He kisses her hair and tells her that he has never done any investigation, and he has not even thought about uncovering her identity first from this side. He mentioned that the fact that such a powerful water manipulator like her has never been known to the world means that there must be a story about her that should not be known to the world. He states that he won't try to pry into anything unless she chooses to tell him. He asks her to please somebody. Tell him herself. She finds him really kind. She states that she will make sure to let him know before his eyes are completely healed. A new day begins, as she thinks that, as Ryan said, she's free to roam during the day. She should go to the library and look for books on water manipulation. She finds it truly fascinating that before Regression, Michael was followed only by unfavorable rumors. But he turned out to be much more affectionate than she expected. She wonders if her regression could have affected him too. She thinks that it is fortunate for her that the likelihood of receiving help has increased. She goes to the library and thinks that it has been a while since she has been here. She used to come here often to hide from relatives who, despite the unawakened. She wonders, since when did she stop coming here? The flashback hits her as her expression changes into sadness. She decides to search for books on water awakeners. She thinks that she needs to read therapeutic books for Michael. As they peel off layers of the curse one by one, the required power of the water will become more complex. Someone notices her. He calls out her name, as it is Huiam and Elheim. The twins have 3 older brothers. The eldest is Einrias, the second is Dantharian, and the third is Huiamin. She often played with him, who was the same age as her. He was timid and loved books, and their relationship began to change. He asked her to check out some books. She told him that this is ancient forgotten knowledge and questions if this is not amazing. He began to start collecting forbidden books secretly from their father. At first she read the forbidden books along with him without knowing anything. But later she read them because she wanted to help their family, even without the power of water. However, the secret did not last long. They were found out. His duke was filled with anger as he questioned who brought these books into Elheim. Huiman became scared and told him that it was not him. His duke asked, "Then who was it?" He pointed towards Riot, telling him that it was her. He told the duke that those ancient books belonged to her. She was shocked, as the duke clearly knew that she was not the culprit, and there was no way a young girl could have had the money and power to seek out and obtain a forbidden book. Even though he knew that, he still punished her. She would rather be bitten if anything, but the violence inflicted by the duke using his water abilities left her traumatized. After that incident, she did not maintain a close relationship with him. But when there's no other blood relatives around, he would often awkwardly strike upon conversations. He would ask how she has been or commenting on today's weather, just like how he's doing right now. He asks her how has she been. She calls out to him and questions what right does he have to breed her like this. He trembles and stares at her. Before Regression, she was traumatized by the forbidden book incident. She used to feel fear towards him as well because of their former from the forbidden book incident. But now she feels completely indifferent. Know that he heard she collapsed due to poison, so he was worried. She passes by him and asks him if that is all. She does not have the time to deal with him right now. He tells her that he always wanted to apologize for the mistakes he made when he was young, and he's worried about her. That is why he's here. She tells him it is because he is worried about himself is not dead, as he wants to alleviate that guilt inside him and feel better. She questions if she is wrong. She tells him that he cannot stand the idea of becoming a bad person, and on that day he always wanted to remain as a good child in the Duke's eyes. He is putting the blame on her for that incident. He does not know how to respond to that, as she tells him that there is no need to apologize now. She has no intention of accepting it. He grabs her hands before she pulls it away. She tells him to continue living as such a good child. She calls him a hypocrite. It is the night time, as Michael questions, so the results of the investigation, spanning several days, is that the spirit stone in Elheim awakens. He questions if this is the only one. He is told yes, that is correct. Michael asks for the evidence. Walter questions that how can he provide evidence when this is what he saw and heard. He was on the verge of that several times just to figure this out. Walter is aware that although he said that there is no way this kind of appeal will work on the young master, surely immediately he knows he will tell him to conduct an investigation again. But to his surprise, Michael tells him that it cannot be helped. Walter is shocked. Michael tells him that he has worked hard and regarding the spirit stone, he will probably ask Father about it in the letter. Walter thinks if he's finally going crazy after losing his sight to a curse. Michael seems to be in a happy mood as Walter asks him if he's feeling happy perhaps. He responds, "Yes, it has been a day, so it is time to come back." He wonders if he is perhaps talking about the awakened one who came to lift the curse. He wonders if this is the reason why he seems to be in a particularly good mood these days. She decides to leave, taking the letters almost midnight, and tells him that he will go and send the report to the master now. He is waiting for her for a while before he stands up and tells that it has been unusually peaceful and quiet for the past few days. Some assassins appear holding daggers. He's aware that Elheim would not engage in such an obvious trick, and those who cursed him must have sent them. Michael takes out a dagger and tells them that a single dagger is more than enough for the likes of them. He wonders that using his abilities would make it easier, but it is clear that he would be pursued by Elheim. He is also aware that if he uses a gun, the sun will echo throughout the entire mansion. He thinks that he should handle this as quietly as possible. The assassin attacks him before he dodges it. He wonders what could possibly be the mastermind's purpose in sending these guys. He thinks that Elheim defenses are certainly not lax. Yet despite that, they manage to sneak in here. And it wonders if their intention is to drive a wedge between Elheim and Birch. He hears a voice as she calls on to him from behind. He tells her that she has come at a bad time and apologizes to her, but asks her to please wait outside for a moment and that he's cleaning up right now. He then realizes that their movements have stopped and thinks if it could be. As he notices that she is using her powers, she asks him if he's all right. He responds that he's fine, but he remembers telling her to wait outside. The assassin trembles as she tells him that he might be in danger. She notices his face and touches it, telling him that it looks like his cheek got hurt. She tells him that once the situation is sorted out, she will take care of the treatment. He wonders that even amidst the stench of blood, to think that she only wants to focus on treating and protecting him. Her actions always exceeds his expectations, and it confuses his mind as he blushes. He tells her that thanks to her, things have been sorted out to some extent. He states that he will take care of them, so she should stay behind him. The assassins begin to fade as she becomes shocked. She asks him to wait as they soon turn into dust. He questions if she was the one who just did that. She tells him that she was the one, and she did not use any power. She looks at their bones and wonders if it is another curse. She thinks it. However, in most general curses and spells, letters or symbols would remain. But since there is no such thing, it really seems like ancient magic. She tells him that she does not know the exact origin, but for now she does not sense any kind of magic. He tells her that it will be no harm then, and he is glad that it is not that worse. He sits down and thanks her for the help. He mentions that he will have the escort knight find out what happened. She responds that, yes, just in case he should tell them to be careful. She tells him that now she will remove the curse. He blushes slightly and tells her all right. She mentions that she will start now. She uses the power and thinks that if the second curse disappears with this, then there will be only 5 curses left then. He wishes that time would stop. Meanwhile, the Crown Prince looks at the bones and states that it is impossible to maintain its shape for a long time, that it would be best to dispose of them. It is the Crown Prince Lucas Franzium. He is questioned what should they do with the puppets already sent to Elheim. The Grand Prince tells that they won't be using this method again, so it is okay to leave them alone. He knows that the Duke of Birch and Elheim will be suspicious towards each other. He is aware that it won't be easy to find out who is behind it. He is told that he is right. But it is not easy to understand Michael's current situation in Duke Elheim. Dog Grand Prince thinks if it could be that the Duke of Elheim is planning to cooperate with Birch. He is told to not worry as it is a curse cast with powerful ancient magic, so even Duke Elheim will not be able to break it off easily. He ponders that he did put a lot of effort into putting a curse on it. And even with Elheim's abilities, it won't be easy to solve. Except for only one person, who is Ryan. The Crown Prince asks him to, appropriately using Ninian as an excuse, send a letter saying there will be a visit to Elheim. Meanwhile, someone questions what is the status of the energy stone. They are told that a blue hollow appeared in the center and the entire spirit store is pulsating like a heart. And it is proof that awakening is not far away. They mention that it is all thanks to Ryan. He is thinking about when he asked me where did Ryard had to, questioning if she did not ask for him. But the maid told him that she did not mention anything about the Duke. The Duke calls out to Ryan and asks him what is wrong. He questions that since he will soon become an adult, should not he find a spouse? He is showed the letter from His Highness, the Crown Prince, in which it is stated that he will be visiting Elheim soon. It looks like he wants him and Princess Ninian to get engaged. He responds that it does not matter to him, and is aware that Ninian is not a bad opponent. It was clearly evident that she had liked him since they were young. But Ryard Elheim was easier to deal with than Ninian, but now she feels stranger and distant than anyone else. He wonders where did it just go wrong. The duo understands that he has no complaints about his engagement to the princess. The Duke is asked when will he invite His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. He mentions that they'll have to hold an event to welcome Mihail Birch in the near future, so it would be a good idea to invite the royal family that day, as a very grand banquet will be held at night, while the hunting competition will be held during the day. Have few days pass like that, and there are only 2 curses left. They begin it as she thinks it is more complicated than the previous curses, so it will take some time. He tells her that it is fine and asks her to take her time. Walter asked him if he said there were 2 more curses. He had responded that it is still blurry now, but he still can see shapes and distinguish colors. Walter told him that if he can see that far ahead, then there's no problem if he meets an enemy in a hunting competition. Although he already knows that Duke Elheim hates Birch, they still hold a hunting competition to welcome the blind. He thinks that they are slowly crossing the line, and it might actually end up being fun. Because he's going to trample on Elheim someday, he decides to think of it as entertainment before that. It begins to get blurry as he wonders if the curse has been lifted. He notices that it seems to be getting clearer. She calls out to him and questions if he can see her. He is astonished as he looks elsewhere. She tells him that she tried to remove it perfectly, but she is not sure if it worked well. She calls out to him again. He responds that it looks very clear. He wonders that he cannot believe he is this flustered and decides to stay calm. He tells her that he is glad she is the first person he has seen after the curse was lifted. He grabs her hand and kisses it. He tells her that he is very thankful and that he does not forget favors. Since she restored his eyes as the successor, the entire Birch family will treat her as a benefactor. He mentions that there's still 1 layer of the curse remaining, but he believes that she will soon fully undo it. Just as he promised when she first entered this room, he will grant her whatever she desires. He asks her what does she wish for. She thinks about it as she is aware it is something she must achieve to avoid repeating the regrets of her past life. It may be impossible alone, but with Michael's help it might just be possible. She tells him that her name is Ryard Elheim. She is the disgrace of the Elheim ducal family. She tells him that she was born awakened half-blood. She is a half-blooded Elheim. There is only one thing that she desires, which is to escape from Elheim. She asks him to please help her. He is astonished before he smiles and tells her that her name is very beautiful. He touches her face and mentions that alright, he will help her break free from Elheim. They are sitting together as he tells her that as she knows he is the heir of Birch, and with his father currently the Duke of Birch, and until recently his grandfather was also here. He looks at her and states that he seems to be the only one talking and asks her if she can tell him about herself too. She tells him that her name is Ryert. He is dumbfounded as he responds that he already knows that. He questions that he wants to ask if she whether dislikes or likes something. She is confused as she wonders what does she like. She tells him that maybe she likes animals. He asks her if she likes birds, but she responds that she is not sure about that. She knows that even though it is about herself, she does not know anything. What she likes and what she dislikes. Bird begins to appear. He tells her that these all birds commonly used for reconnaissance in Birch. He questions if she likes them. She smiles and mentions that yes, she does. He stares at her for a while before he blushes. So when does she think it might happen leaving Elheim? He states that if she wishes then he could let her leave right away. She tells him no. She's still a minor, and nobles who are minors cannot leave their family until they come of age. And if she were to leave now, the Empire would use its laws to justify capturing her. It might even turn the entire Empire against Birch. He is dumbfounded as she asks him to not make that expression, asking what the problem is. He is aware that once the hunting competition ends he will be leaving this place. He thinks that he does not want to leave her behind in a place like this, but she seems uncomfortable too. He will just have to wait. He tells her that he will then consider the day she leaves to be her coming-of-age ceremony. She drugs him. Yes, she will wait. Someone appears and states that nothing seems to change here. He's Dantirian as he is told that he is late. He questions is not this famous for his beauty and asks him if he has the Spirit Stone. He is the second son of Elheim, Dantirian Elheim. He was exceptional even among the awakened of Elheim's direct lineage. Disliking Elheim's nature color, he changed it permanently and left for the Imperial Palace to serve as a guard to Princess Ninian. He is told that the Spirit Stones are where they always are, so if he is so curious, could not he just rushed over as soon as he received a letter about the change in the Spirit Stone? He states that as he knows, he's quite busy. He wants to see the spread stone first. As he goes there, he finds it impressive and questions, why did he just say it was shining if he knew it was this impressive? He would have come sooner. He is told that it was not originally like this. He tries to touch it as even though the water awakeners of the Elheim family did not create water themselves, they could manipulate it. That is called control. However, the waters that fill this place cannot be controlled. Moreover, it is becoming more violent. They are shocked, questioning what on earth is happening. Just then a light emits and someone appears, questioning who are they. The boy asks them who are they and where is the one who woke him up. They are shocked as they wonder who is this being and realizes that immense pressure, realizing that humans cannot reach this level of power. Being aware that a monster or only a divine being would be able to do this, they ask him who is he? He responds that he is so arrogant to ask him that and uses his water power to attack them. He controls them and states that he is Lord Rayard's 10th weapon. He is also Durin's first contractor. They are shocked as he tells them that in their words he is known as the Spirit King. Any questions if they are a distant descendant of Durin as they have extraordinary strength. They tremble in pain as he tells them they will ask him again, and questions which is the one who woke him up. Dantirian is aware that if he does not answer, then he is going to get killed as he's treating them as beings worse than ants. They tell him that the child is outside right now and asks him if they should go and bring her. He tells them not right now, but in the next 3 days they should bring the successor here. He disappears. Dantirian mentions that it seems like he fell asleep again. He's aware that 3 days later would be the day after the hunting competition and banquet would be ended. They decide to quickly teleport the Spirit Stone to his father. The door is unable to be opened as his duke calls them idiots and questions. Could not one of them stay outside? He responds if he knows what will happen to them if they were alone with the Spirit King. They would have been eaten. The duke tells them that if they are too scared, before his son tells him that the Spirit King told them to bring the heir to Durin and come back in 3 days. He states that if they come with Ryan tomorrow, the door will definitely be open. With that guy, Ryan has not been seen lately, so they wonder where is he and what is he doing. That Iran has been particularly attached to Ryard these days. He said he would invite that kid to this hunting competition as well and questions if they should stop her from coming even now. But his Duke states that if Ryan wants her to come, then they should respect that. It is more important than anything else to hide the facts about the Spirit King in particular. They must never let it fall into the ears of those Birch. It is the day of the hunting competition. Michael appears and notices Ryan holding Ryert's hand. He glares at them and wonders that he does not like it. Asked how is he feeling today, he responds that he is feeling good and mentions that it looks like it will be a fun hunt. The Duke tells him to enjoy it comfortably. He responds all right as he wonders there is only one layer of curse left, and the curse on his eyes has almost been lifted, so there is no problem with seeing at all. He is aware that the Duke thinks that he cannot see. That means he probably thinks that he's just standing here like a scarecrow and watching. It is not difficult to get his way. His eyes falls again on Ryert and Ryan's holding hands. He wonders that this is a separate matter. After a while she is sitting under a tree as she thinks that these days Ryan has become strange. Before returning, he never brought her to hunting competitions like this, and she never expected anything like that. But now he tells her that he will bring her to some games, and what does she want? She told him that there is no need. He asked her if it is because she does not want to. She told him to not kill the silver fox and bring it to her. He was astonished before he smiled. He told her that he will keep his promise. Definitely. She knows that she intentionally talked about the silver fox, which is difficult to catch, causing her to think what on earth is he even planning. Before the regression she had hoped for a situation like this, but now it is just annoying. Someone calls out to her as she turns around to find Michael. He calls out to her as he sits beside her. She asks him how did he know that she was here. He responds that he just thought that she might be here. He smiles as he looks at her. He's aware that the truth is that he followed the refreshing scent of her floating through the wind. He giggles as she is confused. She questions if there is nothing wrong with his eyes. He tells her yes, it is a lot better. He asks her about her. He touches her arms and states it must have hurt a lot though. She tells him that it did not hurt much since she's used to this. He tells her to not get used to it, causing her to be astonished. He states that he doesn't want her to get used to feeling the pain. Her expression is filled with astonishment as she is aware she does not know what to say at a time like this. She asks him why did he come here. He tells her it is because he missed her. She is aware that other people think of her as an unawakened person. They did not see her, so why did he bother to come to her in this wide forest? She knows that he keeps inviting about her. She tells him that she is glad he came too. This causes her to be shocked. He begins to blush as he stands up and asks Celebrity should get going. He questions if she's attending the banquet being held today. She didn't remember the surgeon had told her to come to the banquet held out to the hunting competition. She tells him yes if he goes. He tells her okay as she wanted to dance with her. She mentions that she cannot dance. He tells her to not worry about that as he will teach her and states that he will see her at the banquet. Ryan is roaming around there too as he notices a fur. Earlier he was questioned that why does he want to catch a silver fox. They were shocked as they thought they should leave him alone. Maybe it is because he likes foxes. The Duke had told him that he has picked a difficult prey. He asked his Duke about it. As the Duke told him, it is a breed that was killed by orders of the ancestors, so it would be almost extinct. He ponders maybe this silver fox might be the last one left here. He remembers her words when she told him to catch the silver fox, being aware that he must catch it. He thinks maybe then they can go back to the way it was before. He notices something as he observes it and realizes that is the silver fox. He decides to get just a bit more closer in trying to find it. Certainly someone attacks it as he becomes shocked, questioning who could it be. He realizes that the fox just passed out. He wonders if this was a sound of the gunshot. He turns around to find someone and asks him what is the meaning. It is Michael as he asks what is going on. He tells Ryan that he can see, and it seems like his hunting skills are less than his who is blinded by the curse. He does him next time he should please catch it sooner to him again. He passes by him stating it is something that asks to be stolen. Meanwhile, in her room Ryard realizes that she did not even open the dress Ryan gave her for the banquet. She is aware that in her past life she has never won a banquet dress, and so many things have changed since the regression, the imperial family's visit, and the banquet. These things did not originally happen, so she wonders why did the future change. She opens the box to see the dress and finds it beautiful, thinking if she would have enjoyed this if she was an ordinary princess. She looks at herself in the mirror and thinks that with this uncut hair, the old gray dress, and the young face from 3 years ago, it sounds ridiculous, and if it were before, she would not have any regrets about life. However, now for her, she will write about her own future. In the evening after the hunting competition, steps out of the carriage and calls out to the young master, telling him it has been a long time. He greets her too, and thanks the crown prince for the visit. It seems to be Ninian in the banquet. She is clinging on to him. They notices the princess and realizes that she did not even greet them and just went straight to Ryan. The princess tells Dantirian that the behavior does not really suit him, as he responds yes, he is aware of that. The Duke thanks him for the visit. He tells him that he received his gift last time. He also questions of water hunting competition earlier today. He is told that it ended good. The crown prince thinks that it is clear from his expressions that something is wrong and wonders what happened. He didn't think the water and wonders where is Michael. He notices him standing in the corner and thinks that the curse seems to be doing its work well. The princess asks the crown prince what is he thinking. He responds that he was just thinking that young master is too good to marry her. She blushes and asks him to be quiet. She tells the crown prince that Ryan seems to be a little bit upset today. She just asked if Ryard was not coming, and he did not look happy. She tells her brother that she looks pretty like him, so she wanted to get close to him. They are aware that is why the Duke hates her even more. Although she resembles him whom he cherishes the most among the heirs, yet she is incompetent. They don't even understand why she's still so disliked. Everyone becomes shocked as they think that advise everyone so noisy. She notices them looking towards the stair as Ryard steps down. Everyone as Duke is shocked to see her. They notices their mother resembles in her. She apologizes for being late. The princess also notices that she looks so different that she did not recognize her. They are aware that it is the first time they have seen her in such a dress, and plus that poised and composed demeanor without any dare. She is truly looking like a perfect noble lady. Even after being treated badly, she always chased after the affection of the family. You disappointed even more cowardly, because it was ridiculous for her to expect to be able to enter the family's midst. He would ask her to not follow him. He steps towards her as she glares at him, and he wonders why she looking at him with such cold eyes now. He extends his hands towards her and asks for her dance before he is interrupted by Michael, who questions if she would like to dance with him. He remembers his words earlier when he stated that he would make sure to take her quickly next time, and he would not be able to take it away from him again. She tells him of course, and she would love to dance with him wholeheartedly. Ryan stands there looking at them stepping away. As the song plays, she asks him if he likes this song. He tells her that he might have liked it in the past and states that she looks very beautiful today. She thanks him and states that he looks exquisite too. Her attention turns towards the crown prince, who is staring at them. She knows that before she regressed, the royal family even meddled in ancient powers and portions. The assassins entered the banquet, and Michael lost his eyesight due to a curse, Asian magic that turned into dust. And all of those are ancient powers that cannot be used unless the person is from the royal family. She wonders if that means that the royal family is behind everything. She thinks if today's royal visit is to make sure that Michael's skirts is intact. She questions if it is okay for Michael to publicly dance like this. She tells him where the mastermind who cursed his eyes is at the banquet. He smirks as she ponders that she was thinking of explaining it more clearly if it became tighter, but he has already figured it out. He tells her that it does not matter, and she firmly believes that he won't see ahead over there. More importantly, he tells her that when she comes of age, she should come to Birch with him. He hopes that she would accompany him. Ryan is staring at them as Heck clenches his fist and thinks that she must never leave Elhain, and when he takes his place as Duke after coming of age, he can keep her bound to Elheim forever.